All right, this is the Left Undone Roundtable. I'm Joe Barnes. I'm here with Xavier Gonzalez. What's up, X?
How you doing, Joe?
Good. Hey, if you haven't seen this movie, Left Undone, on H2S and its hazards, it's something you should really take time to look at. We use this great resource to really talk to our people and touch base on what is important, in H2S environments. And in this roundtable, X and I are going to go through. We've got some video clips we want to show you. And in these video clips, we're kind of pointing out some of the stuff that's important and some of the stuff that I think that the guys who put together the video were trying to impress upon us. When you say, X?
Yes, sir.
So first off, I want to thank Express Energy Services for putting this video out. That you can find it all over the internet. If you're not using it or inviting your employees to look at it on their own, I think you're missing the ball because they did such a great job. Gary Childress wrote the story, and Express Energy Services got together behind him, made this great resource, and even the people inside of this video are current employees of Express Energy. So we want to thank those guys individually for taking the time, and again, Express Energy Service for their commitment to safety by funding this. But let's jump right in. So the first thing, X, I want to bring out is these guys are on location, they're working on the rig, and the alarms go off. I mean, what's your opinion about what happens when the H2S alarms go off?
Alarms go off. First thing you're taught is to step away, or get away to a safe area.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys, you can even see in the video as I play this clip, they actually kind of look around at each other, right? I mean,
yeah, they look at each other as to what to do, and that should be the case.
Right. We don't wait for permission for anybody. We just got to go. Let's look at the clip.
Got an HS alarm?
Yes, sir. The damn thing keeps going off, just like yesterday.
All right, we got to get this thing checked out.
Alrighty.
Keep going. Let's go.
So the alarm goes off, right? That's what we see here, X, right? The alarm goes off. And right off the bat, and I've seen this in the oil and gas industry myself, your monitor pops off, you got this thing beeping, and, do you trust it? Do you not trust it? What's the thought here?
Everybody's looking at each other again, confused or not sure what to do, because it's pretty common that when something like this happens, people ignore it and pay attention to it.
Yeah, right. And in fact, the one guy takes the phone call from the company man and then tells the supervisor, oh, it's probably a false alarm. I mean, you get all these different links in the chain, and each one of them failed in this situation on a false alarm.
You can see the expression on the company man's face there. He's not sure whether to start working or go to a safe area. He's thinking about work though.
Right. I think at the end of the day, what we have to impress upon each other as a crew and as individual workers is, if the alarm goes off, it's true until it's proven false in that very instant. Not yesterday it went off and today it's going off again. Every time we consider it a real alarm. Every time. All right, let's look at the next one. So there's a big history of how H2S smells like rotten gas, and that is true to a certain extent, right, X?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We talk about H2S smell like rotten gas, but it's not in concentrations that can hurt you. Those are low concentrations. We all teach different courses, H2S, Safeland, and we always say low concentration smells. Well, in this clip, we got the lead on the floor asking one of the new guys, you see the SSC sticker on his helmet there, so he's a short service employee. Do you smell anything? So from the leadership down, we got a problem in this video.
Well, you don't depend on your sense of smell.
Ever. Let's see what we got on this one.
You smell anything? Nah, you need to concentrate. Right? Keep going, keep going.
So he tells them to keep going, keep going. So obviously they're in an area where they do you smell anything. So we already talked about X that low concentration would be if you smell something, right?
Right.
The rotten egg smell. But these guys don't smell anything. So what does that tell us?
Their sense of smell's been dead.
So they're in a high concentration now. They're in a lot of danger. We know that H2S will deaden your sense of smell. You become nose blind almost immediately if the concentration is right, and that's what we have here. Let's take another look at that and see where they go with that. Do you smell anything? All right, so we're seeing right now that, they didn't smell anything, but they were in an environment that was immediately dangerous to their life. And the break in the chain there, not following established procedures, is why we end up losing life in this scenario.
You know, and as many trainings that you will receive on H2S from different instructors, different companies, you're always going to hear, do not depend on your sense of smell. But, you know, just on the video, first thing the guy says, you smell anything? Goes looking around, whiffing, sniffing, and even in live situations, you still have people asking that question. Do you smell anything? You know, you got to depend and pay attention to your monitors.
You know what? You brought up something that I've watched this video 100 times probably. You said as soon as he said, do you smell anything? He was talking to one guy. But the entire crew started kind of looking around and smelling, and that just made it worse because the concentration was so high.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's a dangerous trap to get into, just trying to believe your senses are going to get you out of this. It's just not going to be that way. Let's jump into the next clip we have where the gentleman gets the alarms, and he does evacuate, but he takes a real mistaken route, and one that I've seen actually in the field.
Got an HS alarm?
No, the alarm's going off. We're evacuating. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, so low-lying areas. What is there to be said about running to low-lying areas? We know the composition of H2S as being heavier than air.
Right. You can see it, it'd be like fog, but if you can't see it, then you got to pay attention to your wind socks, your streamers, wind direction, and just know your whereabouts as well.
So he brought up windsock. Actually, if you watch the clip again, if you were to watch this movie, you can see that the windsock is pointing in a direction and everybody else is moving the other way. It's bright yellow in the upper left-hand corner. You can see it right there. And our partner here, who ends up dead in the dirt, was going the wrong way. The best way that we prepare for this situation, and you should do it whether you're the guy in charge or the guy that's starting his first day, is survey your area. Know the lay of the land. Know where, if there's a problem, there's going to be low-lying areas where this stuff can collect.
Exactly. Play the what-if game.
There you go.
What if this actually occurs? Which direction do I need to go? Where are the low-lying areas? Where are the high areas? Keep that in mind, and just Gotta play it safe.
Every time. All right, let's jump into the next one. This video clip is one that we've actually seen in the oil field many times. He ran into his truck. There's our windsock we talked about in the last clip. So he gets into the truck. The thought being, my truck is faster than my feet. I'll get out of here, right, X?
Correct. Yeah.
So the problem that we have with that is a couple things. Number one, it sounds like a gasoline engine. That could be a problem because it could create a spark. We know that H2S is extremely flammable. In fact, it will ignite at 500 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas a cigarette will burn at somewhere between 750 and 1200, depending on who you talk to. The other thing, he's kind of hotboxing himself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not a safe spot at all.
The vents suck in the outside environment. He's sitting inside of it. If he's idling it all, what if that's the way that the H2S release is going, and it's been in that truck. He goes to start it, and that thing is encompassed with all this flammable gas around it. Bad situation.
Possible ignition source as well.
Absolutely. So let's go to the next one. The leading cause of death, I would say, in the oil field, and there's a problem tied to this. And if you guys have been in the oil field long enough, you'll understand. X and I both know this. Just for example, X knows my children. I know his children. We've been to each other's homes. We've had dinner together. You spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your own family. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
So you watch one of your buddies go down who's more of a brother than a buddy, and then what do you do? And that's where this guy gets trapped in this situation.
John, what are you doing? Come on!
It's
Come
okay.
on! Come on, man. Come on. John, we can't do this. Come on. No. Come on. No. Come on. No, come on, dude. Get him.
There it is, buddy rescue. The primary responsibility you have in an H2S environment, self-rescue, right?
Correct. Always take care of number one. That would be yourself.
You can equate it to like being on the airplane. What they tell you on the airplane, when the oxygen mask drops, you put it on yourself first before you try to help anybody else, because if you go out, there's nothing you can do for anything else. X, I picked up on one other thing on this clip that I'm watching. Not just that he went and tried to rescue his friend. That's understood. We would try to go help our friend, right? That's a human response we got to try to get past, right? But the other thing is, all the training that we get in the oil field, one of the prime things we're told is you only do any kind of rescue or training or first aid to your level of training. Clearly, in my opinion, he wasn't trained to do any kind of rescue in this environment.
Right, and it goes back to what Joe said. The natural human instinct or reaction is to want to help somebody, especially your buddy, your family member, or somebody you're close to. You see them go down, and you're going to react sometimes, and you're not thinking. But that's something you got to mentally prepare for and know how to react in the case of emergency. Because you can be trained, have all the training you want, but when it actually occurs, it's totally different.
Right. Right.
Responding to a practice drill versus real life event is totally different. A lot of people may freeze or have stage fright or not know what to do in that moment. People get nervous or whatnot, but it's like I said, it's like Joe said, it's normal human reaction to want to go in there, but you have to be mindful of that. Be careful and take care of yourself first.
Yeah, and I think to add on to that, you dropped a couple things in there. What you just said, doing drills, training, not just hey we talk about this in a meeting or we talk about this in a toolbox talk, but actually having some real life, on scene, on location escape drills where we set off an alarm and we actually practice getting to the right place, because you're gonna you're going to perform the way you practice. And if you're not practicing, like he said, you're going to freeze. So practice. My grandfather used to say, practice makes perfect. Well, that's not true. As he would say perfect practice makes perfect. So just doing the classroom stuff, just talking about it on a drill doesn't measure up to the level that you would if you're physically performing these drills, going out to location and running these things in a situation as they would occur. We'll jump into the next one. And the short service employee kind of calls out our partner here. He's the lead man. And we see this a lot. A lot of the short service guys, they just came out of training. It's fresh on their mind. And some of the older guys like myself, I'll throw X in there too. He's about my age. Some of us older guys, we can get compliant because we've done it so many times. It never goes to show a lesser value that the new guy on location pointed out something, and this guy takes it with the right attitude. He took it with, no, you're right. And a lot of times, us old guys can almost be offended by the new guys pointing out, but the reality is, that guy might be the guy that saves your life. You better make a good friend.
Questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to wear your monitor right here instead of your hard hat?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Everybody? All right, let's be safe.
So let's talk about a couple reasons as to, number one, why not the hard hat? And number two, why is it plugged in or why is it attached where they're talking about attaching it right there?
It's a breathing zone.
Breathing zone, right? It's close to your nose. It's close to your mouth. Years and years ago, we used to put these monitors on our boots. They had the concept of low-lying areas where H2S would collect, and we used to say, well, if you kick through it because it's lower to the ground, it'll get kicked up and your boots will let you know first that you're in it. Well, in their situation, the H2S came out of the pipe way up on the rig floor. So how would that help us on the boot? The second thing is clip to the hat. That's a no-no too. Why is that a no-no?
It'll hit your nose before it hits your hat.
That hits the nose where it hits your hat. And then the big thing is too, are we allowed to do damage to our hard hats? These clips have teeth. So if you're clipping it to your hard hat, what kind of integrity challenge are you doing to the hard hat? You don't create one hazard out of another.
Yeah, not only that, it'll affect the clip on the monitor itself. It'll cause it to weaken. So once you try to put it on your shirt or right above your shirt, that clip will be weakened and it won't have the same grip.
So you're saying you may not even know if it falls off.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'd be working real hard and moving and turning and no monitor.
Example on this clip here, Joe mentioned the SSC just got out of training, so he's aware of the breathing zone, and he stepped up and made a comment and kind of corrected the veteran employee there. In real life, we see it all the time. People are scared to step up and say something, or embarrassed, or feel like they'll be ridiculed, or made fun of, or maybe referred to as a snitch or something. You can't have that mindset. You gotta think safety and let everybody know that you're there to keep each other safe. Once one guy plants that seed, maybe it'll grow and everybody will follow suit.
I agree. Yeah, somebody's got to step up. I'm impressed that the guys who put this film together brought that out and used the SSE, the short service employee, to make that announcement to the veteran guys. It works. It makes a lot of sense. We see it on the oil field, and just like X was talking about right now, some of these newer guys are intimidated by these veteran employees. They want to impress them without making waves. And I guess you could say that he's kind of making a wave right now when he calls out the head guy on the location.
And that's how a lot of accidents actually occur. By not saying nothing. We're trying to impress people and taking shortcuts and not doing the right thing.
I agree. So we're going to jump in now to the emergency response. Not a lot of people realize, it's not realize is not the right word. Not a lot of people consider that we're way out in the middle of nowhere. Most of these locations. We're remote. And even if you're just outside of town, you're down a dirt road, a lease road that's got a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit on it. If there's been any kind of heavy truck traffic on that location, it's tore up, and 5 miles an hour may be too fast. And getting an ambulance to your location, it may not happen. It just may not happen. And even getting a helicopter to land out there, it just may not happen if there's any kind of weather conditions. So let's look at this EMS. This is a Houston crew that they got to work with them off the East Tex Freeway. And I want you to notice, if you do in this clip, how close to the rig they actually get. We've seen the rig. We saw the guys running down the stairs. Look for the stairs and the rig in this clip that they've got put together this movie. All right, X, did you see the stairs to the rig?
Yes, sir.
Did you see the rig?
Far away.
I saw a fence. I saw a fire truck, an EMS truck, and an EMS supervisor parked outside the gate, waiting. They were waiting. And I can tell you, somebody who's been in EMS for a long time, taught EMS classes, we don't teach our firefighters and EMS people for sure specifics on H2S gas and the dangers associated. Now, some of the local fire departments who work in these areas, the small town communities, they may have more training than some of the bigger departments, but we just don't teach it. As a paramedic in the Texas area, I can tell you I have never been to an EMS class where we taught H2S response. What we are taught is, hey, if you don't know what the gas is or you don't know what the problem is, you stay back. Keep your distance. In fact, we call it the thumb method. You kind of pull up close enough to where you stick up your thumb, and if you can see the accident or the release on the other side of your thumb, you're too close, you need to back up. I'm going to play this video again, X, because I want you to notice one thing. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see the rear view mirror, the side mirror here. You see the picture of the CEO, Derek, on the left, and you see the side mirror of the ambulance right here. I want you to watch that side mirror as it rolls through this clip again. Right there, did you see it? What did that medic do, X?
Looking through with binoculars.
So if I'm close enough, you've been on rig locations. How hard is it to see the rig? It's not. They're big things.
Yeah,
They're
right
big.
there in front of you.
This guy's so far away, he had to use binoculars. Let me tell you what, somebody took the time to do their research to know that an EMS and fire crew is not going to bring their equipment on location. They are not going to come in there for rescue. And I don't think enough people in the industry know that. They expect you dial 911. What do we get? Fire trucks, ambulances, trained personnel. Not the case. In these environments, our training is with us. Our training depends on us. And as somebody who's been posted, and they call posting when you park your vehicle, your emergency services vehicle, way back from the accident, it's a frustrating feeling for the EMS and fire personnel. Really frustrating because you want to be there, you want to help. But the reality is we can't become victims in the same tragedy that people that we're dealing with.
Right.
So there's one great clip in this film that I picked up on when the first emergency, the first life experience that goes through in the movie, and it's the guy with the broom. So the guy with the broom, in my experience, X, is not usually the guy in charge. It's usually a beginner guy, short service employee.
Yeah, just learning fresh on his mind.
Maybe we use the word worm. So
green.
The green worm. Let's watch the green worm who sees his alarm go off.
Alright, we gotta get this thing checked out.
There it is. The worm went to squirm.
Yep.
Fresh out of training. Alarm goes off, does what he's supposed to do, doesn't wait for somebody to call the company man, doesn't wait for somebody to look around and see what everybody else is doing.
Doesn't wait for any instructions, he's gone.
Beep, 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 I'm out. So that's something we should consider. If you're worried about how you're going to look, you might end up being worried about how you're going to look in a coffin, because this guy lived in this scenario that Express Energy painted for us here. The guy who dropped everything and left like he was trained to do survived.
Right.
Everybody else left in a bag.
The option between getting in trouble and living. I'm gonna pick living.
I'm a big living. You can go ahead and you can chew on me a minute. So let's do some recap. All right, number one, and we're going to take turns on this a little bit. Never second guess the emergency alarm. You hear your alarm going off, whether it's the big old sirens and the flashing lights on location or your personal monitor, trust it. Until you prove it's false, trust it.
Don't trust your nose. Once again, never depend on your sense of smell on a rig. You hear that over and over and over from every instructor, every place you get training. Don't trust your nose. So don't sit there. Monitor goes off and ask, do you smell anything? Just get gone.
Agreed. Get going. I like it. Avoid low-lying areas. So the way we avoid low-lying areas is we survey the site when we first go out there. And it's not the responsibility of your employer or your boss to tell you where the low-lying areas are, because when the alarm goes off, your boss should be running too. And following him, in this case, would have got you killed. So it's up to you to know where those low-lying areas are and to stay away from them.
Plan accordingly and use that during your GSA time. Know where the safe areas are.
Absolutely.
Never get in your truck to escape. Once again, like Joe mentioned earlier, that could be an area where the H2S is already emitted to and is setting. Not only that, being in the truck, starting it, there might be some kind of reaction when you turn the truck on. If you turn the truck on, there's always a muster point that should be set at each location. So pay attention to the muster point, and then once again the wind direction, wind sucks.
Very good. Remember self-rescue. We watched this guy go after his buddy, and then we watched them both get zipped up in body bags. And unfortunately, this is a problem in all industries where guys and ladies spend so much time together that they develop friendships that go past that, become family. It's a hard lesson to learn, but you've got to rescue yourself. And along with that is, you only rescue to the level of your training. If you've not been trained on bringing somebody out of a highly hazardous situation, you're going to become the next casualty of the conflict. You got to stay out of there. Get yourself away and just deal with what you have to deal with, and hopefully, that your organization is prepared for some kind of rescue. If you want to be a part of the rescue team, by all means, get yourself trained up, and then you can be a part of the rescue.
There you go. Take care of number one.
That's it.
H2S monitors live in your breathing zone. Don't forget the breathing zone is right in the chest area. Don't go in your hard hat. Don't go in your boots. Right around your chest area, your breathing zone.
Yep. It's a hard lesson to learn for some people. I still see hard hats with clips on them. I'm taking hard hats away from guys who've got the rims all chewed up. Listen to what that is.
It's not about looking cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's probably what it is. Next one. Don't trust your local EMS can save you. They're going to come as close as they can. They're going to kind of respond to their level of training, unless you got a hazmat team or a rescue team that's trained within your group of EMS locally. Then they're not going to come in. And the reality is, most of the oil and gas industry works in these remote areas, way outside of town, way out in the county, way out these dirt roads in the middle of somebody's field. And what you may have for emergency services is a volunteer department. And when you dial 911, you're going to get maybe a deputy, and you're going to get, hey, whenever they get available, whenever somebody comes in, we'll send them your way. And you may not get emergency services for quite some time. So the reality is, we've got to train to treat ourselves. We've got to train to self-rescue, and we got to train to make sure we understand how to look at a location and survey for our safety.
You're going to know probably more than these EMS people once they get on location.
Guaranteed.
Because they're not familiar with H2S.
Guaranteed.
Don't wait. Evacuate. No need to get permission. Again, don't sit there and wait for somebody to tell you to go. Don't sit there and second guess it. Get there, hear that alarm, see something hazardous with H2S, leave the area immediately, evacuate.
That's right. You don't need a company man's permission. You don't need anybody's permission. So that kind of recaps the movie Left Undone, put together by Express Energy Services. Our take on it. Obviously, we're not the end-all, be-all of everything that they were putting into this. We want to thank them again for putting this together. They put it out as a resource, and it's amazing. Take the time to go back and look at it now that you've done the Roundtable review, and see if you see some extra stuff, and let us know if you come up with something that we missed.
Yep.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.